All right. You guys asked, so let's talk about it. Now,
P.S.
turmeric.
Sorry, Victor. I just want to say, fun fact, we were going to do a whole episode on turmeric, and us working the research, we're like, pivot.
Yeah, so Gloria's really revealing our true feelings is that when we looked at turmeric, we were like, there is not enough interesting data to talk about just turmeric. So instead of one ingredient, we give you 3. Okay. So yes, turmeric, we all know, is a Ayurvedic root that's used in foods and also as a dietary supplement that's good for digestion. But in skincare, if you were to look for this ingredient on the IL, it will show up as curcuma longa extract. Okay, so not turmeric. The one thing about turmeric is that it has a lot of marketing push. It's like tied to anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, even antioxidant properties. It's even looked at for wound healing or mentioned about wound healing. But the problem is the ingredient itself and probably the active components behind it, which is like curcumin and the curcuminoids, they're not stable. And they're like throughout all the papers, they're mentioned about not being stable and having very poor bioavailability, which means that probably in a petri dish, they're like all these great properties. And then when they actually try to test the activity with cells and skin and mechanisms within, our bodies, does terribly. So it's just one of those difficulties around this ingredient.
I think one of the top questions we got when we polled you guys on your turmeric questions was, is it in fact a really good whitening ingredient? When we realized, it's also linked to whitening on top of anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. So it's kind of like that cure-all that seems to be tied to everything. But like Victoria said, when us chemists, we look at these data, sometimes you'll see really promising in vitro or like early stage data around these things. And then the molecule or a plant gets tied to everything from anti-inflammation to whitening to antimicrobial. And then they get to the chemist portion of it. It's like, hey, we have this miracle ingredient. You're not going to like it because it's not going to stay in formula. It's going to die on you. Who knows if it's going to work after sitting on a shelf for 2 months or 3?
Yeah, exactly. So with that, let me share the clinical I found. All right. This is a placebo-controlled study that wanted to test 5% turmeric, which is a fat amount. So it does come with a scent. They tested it on 13 volunteers. So this is tiny. And they use this cream twice daily for 3 months. So it's a pretty long period. These are the results. A significant increase in the sebum values was observed from the 6 weeks and onward using the control cream. Okay. On the other hand, the cream with turmeric had a significant decrease in sebum secretion that occurred from the 4th week and onwards, reaching a maximum reduction of 24.8% at the end of the study period. The end.
Wait. We talked about anti-inflammation, we talked about antimicrobial, antioxidant, and whitening. You're telling me this is a sebum reduction item?
I'm sorry, this is only goodbye.
This is like the classic, this is the most bait and switchy ingredient we've done so far.
Yeah, so this is, it pains me to tell you, I think this is the best clinical I could find in terms of transparency and performance of the study and, how they measured and everything. I did want to mention I found a very super actually technical Japanese paper that looked at turmeric for its anti-aging properties. They did a lot of in vitro to look at markers and how it interacted with cells. And they did mention a clinical study, but I have no clarity on what they did in this clinical. So they mentioned that in the conclusion that it prevents collagen degradation and improves skin elasticity after 1 month of use. Okay. But I have no idea how they, what concentration they used, what were the details of the study itself, like what kind of subjects, any of that. I just had no data. So that's kind of the pain around this ingredient.